The No New Friends podcast is brought to you by Manscaped. For the best in below-the-waist grooming, visit manscaped.com. Use promo code NNF for 20% off. That is manscaped.com.
Caleb got his first speeding ticket this weekend too, and he was speeding in a school zone.
No.
Y'all,
We're speeding ticket
we
buddies.
Are, well, yeah, we're both broke now for paying our kids speeding tickets. Look, I told him, I was like, we don't have to tell your mom.
I don't pay my kids.
Oh. Yeah, I don't.
No, she's got a job. She's paying her speeding ticket.
Either. I was like,
because what is she going to learn from it? Or what is he going to learn from it if you're paying his speeding ticket?
Learn today. I'm going to tell you because I looked him in his eyes and I was like, I own you now. I own you.
She's like, that'll cost you 10 corgi coins.
Absolutely. You know what it's going to cost him? He's going to get to drive his sisters around where they need to go. When his little brothers want to go to the park or to Target to go pick something out or to GameStop, he's driving them.
Yes, throw him in the car with a speeding maniac.
Brilliant, Mary. Brilliant.
Broadcasting from the Sandpiper Vacation Studios. It's time for the No New Friends podcast. The podcast for adults who love to laugh at adulting. The good, the bad, and the funny.
Okay, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's showtime. It's showtime.
That's right. You're listening to the No New Friends podcast, voted number 1 by our friends and family. We are the podcast for adults who like to laugh at adulting. If you'd like to connect with us on all of our social media links, they're right there on our website, nonewfriendspodcast.com. While you're there, check out our really sweet merchandise, including our brand new Pride line, and also join our clubhouse. Become a friend with benefits. That's our Patreon, and you can watch us record all of these episodes live as they're happening. And don't forget, 'tis the season. It is time to nominate us for Orlando Weekly's Best of Orlando competition. There's a couple categories that we really want you to nominate us in. Obviously, Best Local Podcast, No New Friends Podcast, the local big shot that's not a politician, Mary Reedy.
That's me. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, we went over this last week. You don't speak until you're introduced, okay? And then you can do your little pitch.
I just won. You said my name.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. And then also Best TikTok, no.new.friends.podcast. We've got some funny videos up there as well. And look, if you want to do the OnlyFans thing too, go for it. You know, Sarah's fine with that. My name is Scott. I'm the host. With me, as always, my co-host, the queen of interruptions, Mary.
What were you saying?
The queen of...
Mary!
Everybody's favorite food truck critic, Sarah.
Hello.
Our producer, Alex.
Hola.
And the scumbag reselling hoarder himself, Chris.
Forget it, Jake. It's Chinatown.
Jake and the Fat Man. You're the Fat Man.
This is a softball.
Gremlins.
Chinatown.
The movie's Chinatown.
I literally told you the answer. Wait. Ryan chimes in chat. Yes, Chris loved Chinatown. Best Jack Nicholson movie. Oh, wow.
Gotcha. Well, that was a fun quote. So listen, big week this week, guys. And Sarah, Mary, I'm going to need your help on this. Okay. So I'm a girl dad. Okay. I've got 2 girls and then my oldest son. But
that's not how that works, first of all, but go on.
What do you mean? It
Pretty sure the definition of girl dad is when you have just daughters. You're just a dad. Like you get daughters and a son. Like you're not a girl dad.
I guess you're right. I'm just a dad. I'm a dad.
I don't know. Actually, how does that work? Do you have to have only daughters or only sons to be like, hashtag boy mom? Like, what is that? I don't know the rules.
I thought it was if you had daughters, you're a girl dad.
No, I don't think so. I think you're just a dad.
Well, did Kobe Bryant only have girls?
Yeah.
That's how that works.
No,
yes. Yes,
Oh.
that's how that works. Yeah.
Huh.
I'm not into it.
Mind blown. Okay.
Well, you're dad.
Although there was that one woman in Salt Lake City.
Oh, stop it. Jesus. All right. Well, that didn't work out. That's right. You're listening to the No New Friends podcast. But no. So I've got 2 girls. One is 17. One is 11. Or one's going to be 11. Jesus. Guys, my 11-year-old had her first Shark Week this past week. Chris, she became a woman this week.
Oh. I watch a lot of Game of Thrones. That means something totally different to me than it probably would to
okay.
you.
Wow.
She did not marry the she not get married?
No.
Okay.
Different ways.
Right, you did not sell her off.
No.
Okay.
More painful, more moody, more.
She gave birth.
No. Jesus. No. She
Listen, I'm not a dad.
She started her period.
She started it?
Yes.
Oh.
And ended it because it's been a minute. So
It was a short one, just a minute. Is that how that works?
I wish that's how
you
it
are
worked.
a girl
Jesus.
dad.
Well, that's the thing, man. So her mom calls me and says, "Hey, just an FYI, she started her period." And I'm like, okay.
Oh, wait. So I'm sorry. I got to cut you off. She doesn't call it Shark Week?
No, she doesn't call it Shark Week.
Oh, okay. I thought that was a sensitive name for it. I was wondering why she didn't use the word.
No, I just called it Shark Week. They were
okay.
Her and her mom and my wife were very technical about everything, and I'm like, okay, it's Shark Week. So first of all, she says, okay, so she just started her period. Are you prepared? And I'm like, yes, I'm married to Martha freaking Stewart. She's got everything. She's had everything in all sizes, shapes, colors, and scents for months, years, if you will. And so she's like, okay, well, you got to get the long ones with the wings and this and that and the other. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, there's varieties, like wings long.
It still sounds like we're talking about Game of Thrones.
No, Chris. She's talking about the pads. And I have no idea. And I'm like, can you just text Rachel and let her know what, like, you're expecting me to convey this information and remember this information. So this is what was my daughter's real big concern. Not so much the bodily fluids or the cramping. She's like, am I going to be real moody this weekend? And I'm thinking, yes, absolutely. And you know, her mom was very, you know, she's like, well, you know, it affects everybody differently. You may be in some pain, which may cause some discomfort. You may be a little grumpy. She's like, well, I apologize in advance if I'm a little sasshole this weekend.
Well, that was nice.
To which Abby's mom sent her to us. So
like,
we
yeah,
got
take her.
Take her. There was this whole conversation. Now, Sarah Mary, you're in a bonus parent type situation where there's other moms. Like, have we had these conversations? Like, is there bonding with the moms during this? Because they have this whole conversation, and I'm like, I'm going to Canada this weekend. FYI, I'll be back.
I don't necessarily know. I don't think that there was any like bonding amongst the mothers, but I think that like when it's like a bonus child, especially if like, so Addison did not start Shark Week when she was at our house. She started at her mom's. So I was just made aware of it, and I just stocked up the menstruation station.
Yeah, same situation with us. She started with her mom and then
things.
But we like don't communicate directly about it. I usually will just like do a temperature check and ask them if they need anything different, or, you know.
You got a fever?
Yeah, do fevers come with the period?
You know what I mean? Like, check in on them.
No, I don't. No, you really got to dumb this down for me.
Like with people, like you're just like, I'm just checking in. I'm seeing how things are going. Like, where are we? Like,
I mean, we did that a lot during COVID. 98 were good. 101. Put the swab up the nose.
And rectal's always 100% accurate.
Rectal is the most accurate. You're right.
Much more accurate than under the tongue or in the armpit.
Yeah, armpit's the worst. Anyways, so yeah, we didn't really have like a full blown out conversation. And the same thing with like Zoe. She was just it's crazy to me how well our kids like adapt to rough situations. So when I started my period, I freaked out, man. I was not well for a few days. And I knew what was happening to myself, but I was not prepared. My kids are like, all right, let me slap a tampon in. Let's go to the pool. Like, that's not.
Well, Mary, that's because you're 1 ounce of blood loss away from a transfusion.
It's true. You're not wrong. Yeah, I don't know. I think that it's harder for the opposite gender, if that makes sense, to have
those conversations.
To have a period? Yes. Very difficult.
Oh my gosh. To have the like coming of age conversations, because
for sure.
I mean, my boys, sometimes I'm like, oh my God, what are you doing? I can't talk about, like, don't do that. It's okay to do that, but not
in the living room. Like things like that. There's some weird conversations that happen and I'm not comfortable with it. And then also we have one child that is of age to enjoy the opposite gender, I guess is the best way to say that. And we learned that he may or may not be doing that. I'm trying to speak in code. I don't want to say it. They're totally banging, man. Him and his girlfriend are banging. That's what's happening. Do you want to hear how
How do you know?
I'm going to take you on a journey, all right?
Oh, so, please do.
His girlfriend comes over, and she had like a little rash on her arm. And I was like...
Wait, real quick. How old is
almost
Caleb?
Almost 17.
Okay, all right. I didn't know if it was going to be appropriate to transition to a Manscaped ad or not in this segment. It is not.
Yeah.
So
I don't think so.
Continue, please.
So she had a little rash on her arm. And I was like, oh my goodness, what happened? And she's like, oh, I had to go to the doctor for something.
Herpes. That escalated real fast.
So she was like, I had to go to the doctor and they put on the wrong gloves. I'm allergic to latex. And immediately I had like the That's So Raven look, like when she gets a premonition. And I was like, I'm going to be a grandmother. This is not okay. And so prom was like 2 weekends ago or something. So I take my greenie in the room and I'm like, hey, I need you to have a conversation because I'm not ready to be a grandmother. If she is allergic to latex, the boy needs to get like another option, like lamb skin or something.
Like sheepskin?
Yeah, like,
oh.
Let's figure that out. And so he was like, oh, I don't know. Should I talk to him about it? And I was like, I'm not going to. I can't have that conversation. As far as I'm concerned, he's still 8 years old and loves puppies. And then Mike was like, yeah, he does love puppies. I was like, you're disgusting.
You guys say that I love puppies.
Anyway, so I guess he had the conversation, was like, hey, man, I know like you're getting older. Mary did mention that your girlfriend said this. So do you have that? And he's like, yeah, I have those. Like, not on me, but like I do. And he's like, have you used them? And he goes, I'm going to need to contact my attorney before I speak on the matter, and walks away. So I'm not really sure, but for me, I don't know. But that conversation's hard. I don't want to address that. Not with boys. Girls, I feel like I can relate, you know?
Right,
I don't know.
right.
But is that...
Well, it was definitely a much easier conversation with me, with my son about sex when I knew that it could be happening. And I got to ask his permission before I tell that story. But
I didn't ask any permission. I just told it. Oh God.
Well, he listens to the podcast. So it's a great story. But anyway, maybe on the Father's Day episode, we'll tell that story. But that was an easy conversation. It was a super simple conversation. I'm sure it was awkward for him, and it was, a little bit awkward, but it was super easy to have. But now when my 17-year-old decided to start, doing things, that was a much more difficult conversation because it's just, I don't know. It's just, I'm with you, Mary. It's tough to do that. But honestly, my 11-year-old was super chill about all of it and was like, had no problem with me asking, she went and spent the night at a friend's house. I was like, hey, do you have some pads? And she's like, yep, I got 4 and all that. And she's like, she's like, I should be good. If I need anything, I'll call you. And it was like a super chill conversation where there was like zero embarrassment from either of us, really.
That's good.
And I'm like,
look at that.
I'm a pretty good girl dad.
Look at that.
Yeah. Turns out I'm not a girl dad, but
Still not a girl dad. But.
So Sarah, you've got kids, right? It actually worked.
Yeah.
It fit. Are we there yet, or are you
with one child?
Okay, gotcha.
With one child. So, that was, same thing. It happened at mom's house. So she just kind of said, hey, so one of the girls, she went to go take a shower. I noticed her clothes on the floor. So I'm running to go and get supplies and just letting you know, you should probably as well. So she had already had a talk with her mom, but I brought her here to let her know that, any questions she had, she could ask me. And I stocked up her little backpack bag with chocolate and all that stuff. So, I hooked her up. She's got it all. So she's ready. But now she's super nonchalant about it. I don't even know what's going on. She knows what's happening. She knows where everything is. She's like, no, that's it. But Lewis panicked. Hardcore. Hardcore panic.
Do you need a Band-Aid or something? I don't know. What do I do?
You should see the text between the three of us. It's really just me and Mom. And she texted one time and was like, hey, so I had to go and get training bras, just letting you know. And Lewis was like, I want no part of this conversation. You handle that, and I trust your judgment. And we did. I mean, that's how it goes in this house.
I wish that worked in my house because I say that, I think I say it a little bit too much, honestly, because when it comes to like, birthday presents for anybody or Christmas or whatever, I'm always like, I tell Rachel, I trust your judgment. You handle it. But I think when she's like, hey, do you mind doing the laundry today? And I'm like, hey, I trust your judgment. You handle it. Like, I think I've overused that phrase a little bit, and it doesn't work anymore.
Rachel, you can kill him if you want to. I trust your judgment. If you think it's necessary. Trust it.
So we cannot escape this segment because my 17-year-old was like, oh my God, thank God that Abby started her period here and at the same time as this happened to me, because now I know you're not going to talk about it on the podcast. Well, guess what? We still have a couple minutes. My daughter, okay, it feels like now I know what it's like to be Mary's dad, okay? She got a speeding ticket. She got her first speeding ticket.
Oh my God.
Going 45 in a 25. So it was residential.
Look, could be worse.
That's what I said. So go ahead, Mary.
Caleb got his first speeding ticket this weekend too, and he is speeding in a school zone.
No.
Y'all,
we're speeding ticket buddies.
We're both broke now for paying our kids speeding tickets. Look, I told him, I was like, we don't have to tell your mom.
I don't pay my kids.
Oh. Yeah, I don't.
No, she's got a job. She's paying her speeding ticket
either. I was like,
because what is she going to learn from it? Or what is he going to learn from it if you're paying his speeding ticket?
Learn today. I'm going to tell you, because I looked him in his eyes and I was like, I own you now. I own you.
She's like, that'll cost you 10 corgi coins.
Absolutely. You know what it's going to cost him? He's going to get to drive his sisters around where they need to go. When his little brothers want to go to the park or to Target to go pick something out or to GameStop, he's driving them.
Yes, throw him in the car with a speeding maniac.
Brilliant, Mary. Brilliant.
Oh, so how did she handle it? Did she accept responsibility? Did she apologize? And
1000%. This kid is one of the most responsible kids I've ever met, other than the fact that she's going 45 and a 25. But she apologized to the officer. She was very scared. And I'm like, what are you scared of? Why are you scared of the police officer?
She's a white female.
It's fine. Right. So she called me and she's like, she's in tears. And I'm like, why are you crying? She's like, I just don't want to disappoint you. And I'm like, baby girl, you could never disappoint me. I'm disappointed in the decision that you made, but you could never disappoint me. You understand the difference, right? And I made sure she understood the difference. And I said, but here's the thing. You're not going to escape this without a lecture. I said, speed limits are in place for a reason, especially in a residential area. I said, what would have happened if a child ran out in the street and you're going 45 and you didn't have time to stop it, and then you killed this child? How would that make you feel? Or imagine your sister, your 6 or 7 year old sister, who's running in the street and she gets hit by someone going 45. How would that make you feel? She's like, I know, I'm very sad. And she's like, but I got really lucky. Instead of the officer giving me like the full speeding ticket, he gave me like 10 miles less than what I was doing. Like, he hooked her up.
That's nice.
So, instead of a $500 ticket, it's like $135. I'm like, well, great. Fantastic. That's pretty much the equivalent of a participation trophy.
Well, better than ours was $297, I think. And the best part is that he took zero accountability for it. So that's what made it best. He was like, well, this would have never happened if I didn't have to go pick up his stepbrother. And I was like, was he driving the car? And he's like, no, but I wouldn't have had to go that way, and I wouldn't have been driving there if I didn't have to go pick him up. And I was like, look, I understand what you're saying here. Still your fault, though. So he's like, I don't know. I don't really even think it was a real school zone. I didn't see a flashing light. And I was like, yeah, because you were going too fast. You zoomed right by it.
It was in between the flashes.
God. I will say, though, guys, I'm going to tell you a secret that I haven't told a soul. I did back into his car the other day. I forgot it was there. I just like, so there's like a little.
Did you tell him after you got the ticket? See, listen, and I back.
No, I still.
No, this is the funny thing. I can picture this whole conversation. She's trying to discipline her son, right? And you know, you shouldn't be doing that. You got to drive carefully. And he could just say, "Bitch, look at your hood."
I still haven't got it fixed yet.
And Mary, and you could have spun this on him when he went speeding in the thing zone, the school zone.
The think zone? The think zone?
I think you said the think zone.
Is this Blue's Clues?
Now we're just making fun of speech impediments now. Okay,
yeah, is that off limits? I didn't know it was.
Wow.
Yeah, oh yeah. Look, it says no topics off limit, so we can make fun of your speech impediment.
Forgot you're from Florida and anything's legal down there as long as you're not a minority.
We love
like
hate.
myself.
The only thing we love in Florida
crime.
is hate.
Yeah. He was. I don't even know what I was saying. You're welcome.
Going through the think zone.
Zooming through.
He's going through the think zone. So he was zooming through the school zone. You could have just said, "Ask me if he hit anything," and then it's like, "Well, then what's this dent in the front of your car?" That wasn't there the other day.
It's so bad. I got out. It's not like that bad, but I got out and I was like, how can I? Who can I blame this on? I wonder where it gets
Speaking
it from.
of taking zero accountability, Jesus.
So instead, I just took it to the grave. I didn't tell anybody except for everybody now, which is fine.
There you go. There you go. All right, you're listening to the No New Friends podcast. When we come back, we're going to learn a little bit about Chris's commune.
Me too, I guess.
You're listening to the No New Friends podcast. We'll be right back.
Hey, you want to join a cult? Well, this might be your lucky day. For just $2 a month and a simple blood oath, you can join our clubhouse and become a friend with benefits. In addition to the amazing feeling of donating to the poor, you will have access to Patreon exclusive content, live shows, and maybe even a behind-the-scenes look at my secret stash. To get started, head on over to nonewfriendspodcast.com and hit join our clubhouse. Can't wait to see you at the initiation ceremony. Oh, and in the chat during our live shows, of course.
Hey, everybody. Why don't you give the old Black Lincoln Collective podcast a listen? We're funny, we're fat, and we're here 24/7 at blcpodcast.com. Anytime you want to listen, anywhere, all your favorite podcast apps. Of course, we have a YouTube channel where you can stream live with the show. Check out our shorts. We're funnier the less you hear of us. That's been a Black Lincoln Collective podcast at blcpodcast.com.
There are 3 things that I hate in life: taxes, nausea, and booking vacations. The first 2 I'm stuck with, but for the third, I use Sandpiper Vacations. Sandpiper Vacations is a small business that is LGBTQ+ owned and operated with travel advisors all over the country. Whether it's a cruise, a trip to a theme park, or an all-inclusive resort, Sandpiper has you covered. Oh, and I forgot to mention, it's free. Why book a vacation when you can have someone else do it for you? That's like choosing to take the stairs in a building that has an elevator. Leave the headaches of booking a vacation to someone else. Get your quote today at www.sandpipervacations.com and tell them that the No New Friends podcast sent you.
This is Larry Hankin, and you're listening to the No New Friends podcast.
Welcome back to the No New Friends podcast. If you'd like to call us and leave a voicemail, give us a call, 407-906-0543. We love those voicemails, and if they make us laugh, maybe we'll put it on air. You never know. So, Chris, I had someone that I work with today, or this week. She was talking about going to the Taylor Swift concert in Philadelphia. And I'm like, well, that's like a weird place to go to. Like, this is like a Taylor Swift group. Like, she's been to like 4 different Taylor Swift concerts.
She has sex with Taylor Swift?
No.
Or is that not what a groupie is anymore?
That's a roadie. Roadie is the sex with the... I don't know.
I think it might be a groupie too.
I think it's a groupie, yeah.
Okay. Well, she's
anyway.
a super fan. So anyway, So she's like, I'm going to the show in Philly because I'm from Jersey. And I'm like, oh, okay. And my wheels start because I figure anytime someone says that they're from Jersey, I'm like, oh, you know Chris. So
Yeah, totally. They have to. It's a very small state.
Right. So she says, it's actually South Jersey. And I'm like, oh, then you definitely know Chris. So I'm like, well, my friend lives in Cherry Hill. And she's like, oh, is he rich? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, he lives with his parents, kind of.
Rich with depression.
Right. Maybe Chris is closet rich. I don't know. She's like, well, Cherry Hill, that's where all the rich people live. And I'm like, okay. I said, well, I know he lives with his parents, but not really. I said, like, they live in a house and there's like 2 adjoining houses and him and his wife live in one and his sister and her husband or boyfriend live in the other one. She's like, yeah, it's like a commune. And I'm like, yeah, it is like a commune, like a cult. And she goes, yeah, that's how all the rich people live. They keep all their families like in the commune or on the plantation. Well, down south, it's the plantation. But north, it's the commune. So Chris, and we know this about you, that you live like within walking distance to do the dishes at your parents' house.
Yeah, that's right.
So
that's right.
Can you explain to me exactly what the situation is?
Yeah, sure. You ever hear of a gentleman called Charles Manson?
Yeah.
Very familiar.
Yes.
Very
something
familiar.
like
Mary and Sarah watch a documentary about him at least once a week.
At least.
Yeah. I just brought him up today. That's so weird.
Wait, is that an After Dark thing?
We'll save that.
Wait, do you and Lewis have role playing as Charles Manson? That's a little weird.
Whoa,
No,
who draws the
no.
swastika on their forehead? Probably not you.
We were talking about a show.
That would be.
It wouldn't be me.
Yeah, I think that's like taboo
Bad
even
luck.
for a non-practicing.
But hold on. You criticize getting a swastika on your forehead. Who's got numbers on their wrist?
That's true.
Well, that wasn't the intentional
I don't think we've talked
reason.
about that on air. That was a before air when we got the idea to do the After Dark.
Mary looks confused. I don't know.
No,
if
she doesn't.
knows.
She doesn't because that was an off-air conversation.
Yeah, we should take a little fork in the road and explain this for a second because this is pretty good.
All right. Long story short, basically, Lewis and I decided that we wanted to get coordinate tattoos for each other. So he has my birthplace on his arm, and I decided to get his birthplace on my arm. But I chose the lower half of my arm, where my ancestors also got tattoos.
Hold it up again. I don't know, Mary, did you see it?
Here,
the numbers.
I know. Here, there you go. So,
Oh, I see it. I see it all right.
So my dad had a panic attack.
Were you like, Dad, sit down, pour a glass of Manischewitz? We're going to talk about what happened.
No, I was having a conversation with him. He was sitting in his car. I just kind of like threw my arm in the car, not thinking that I was also trying to hide it because he was going to be like, another new tattoo. What are you, wasting your money on? And I just kind of put my arm in there and he went, what is that? Did you? And his first question is like, did you not think of the
don't want to make him mad, God
and
forbid.
I immediately regretted it.
Wow.
So, not regretted it.
Because
I shouldn't say that. He's sitting right behind me. Regretted the placement.
This would be a first. Yeah.
That never happens.
I don't know.
It's the best souvenir. It lasts forever.
I know this is before we get back onto the topic of the cult that I am a part of. I'm actually in the market for getting a tattoo.
NNF. Tramp stamp.
Okay.
NNF.
Wait, what?
On the tramp stamp.
NNF. Oh no, me and my sister are getting
NNF.
tattoos.
You both get NNF.
Oh, so like you could get in, she'll get in, and then somebody else can get F.
I love how Scott just doubled down. Like, yeah, exactly.
I already figured this out for you. No
perfect.
problem.
I actually do want our listeners to vote for what I should get because I'm not sure. I'm being indecisive.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like
That's
it.
a good idea.
So,
I was thinking like
get Jobed. Hashtag get
the
Jobed. I love
smiling
it.
coast of Africa.
Yeah. I was thinking like maybe a portrait of his face
With a peace sign. Yes.
with a peace sign. I'll just tell my sister like this was our great grandfather from Puerto Rico. She's like, oh, that's very sentimental. And then
So
anyway,
Sarah showing us her tattoo was the reason why we now felt it was appropriate to make Jewish jokes her way. Because we're like, oh, she's got a good sense of humor about it. Yeah. So Chris, you have a cult, right?
I opened this door.
So anyway, like I was saying, you know Charles Manson?
Yes.
Nothing like that.
Okay.
By the killing.
More like David
There's
Koresh?
no killing here.
Are you the?
Don't.
Oh, you're Fat
You
Jesus.
kind of look like
Don't.
you look
don't
like
know what
David
that
Koresh,
means.
just a
I
little
don't
bit.
know what that is. Don't know who that is.
The
Waco,
but,
Texas. The Davidian branch.
No,
or
I never
branch
watched
Davidians?
that one. Never
Branch
watched that one.
Davidians.
No, I'm sorry.
God.
I don't know. So anyway, okay, this is how it all started. So years ago, I lived at a house with my sister, my mom, and my dad.
You,
My
like
grandma
when you were
moved in.
growing up? That sounds
still.
like a
Well,
single
I mean,
family
still.
unit.
Well, I mean, still, but at one point it was just us four, and my grandma moved up from Florida. It's a whole state. Don't know if you guys know that or not. And
Yeah, don't come there. Don't go there.
no, and
And listen,
So
if you're going to
she-
come
so-
here, okay, make sure that you've got freshly shaven balls. And by freshly shaven balls, use the Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0 for the best in below the waist grooming. For when you come down to Florida, use that Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0. Use the promo code NNF for 20% off your purchase.
Scott's like, just call me Florida. So my grandma moved up, and she wasn't going to live in our house. We got a mother-in-law suite built in. We converted the garage, right? And then we also got an addition put onto the house to form what, I don't know. Do you guys have them down there too? Mother-in-law suites?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
You guys hate your, okay. So, I didn't know, with COVID and everything, they all just died off during COVID.
The mother-in-laws,
Because-
a lot of them did.
Yeah, I just thought, you guys didn't care about them down there. So we have these mother-in-laws. So I live in the mother-in-law suite now, guys. That's the long story short. Long story long. Emily and I now live in the
What
mother-in-law
happened to the
suite.
grandmother?
So,
Did she move into the house, or you said she did? Didn't she? Did
she moved in the mother-in-law
Okay, so
suite, and then then when she went to a home, we moved in a couple years later.
Did you send her to the home because you wanted the room? Were you like,
I
Grandma, you're
wish that
looking
was
a
the
little,
case.
sick?
I wish that was the case. Would have been a lot happier of an ending.
Oh, Jesus.
So yeah, thanks, Mary. Thanks for just bringing up
Sorry.
like years of so. All right, I'll be right back. I have to go cry for 3 minutes, then I'll be back. No, so anyway, it gets funnier. Oh my gosh, no, it gets funnier. Period. It's funny. Period.
It gets funny,
oh my
period.
goodness.
Nothing makes me laugh like a grandmother dying joke. It's just.
So anyway, so Emily and I live here.
When Chris's friends' grandmothers die, he instead of hitting the care button on Facebook, it's right next to that laugh button, and he sends them a nice, good old laugh.
Everyone's got to laugh. If we don't laugh, we cry. That's my slogan.
Shake it off.
Maybe I do it on
kids, shake it
purpose.
off.
Yeah, maybe I do it on purpose. I put the laugh and then I comment rub some dirt in it. So anyway, so we live here now.
Anyways, we live here now.
Just grow up. We should start doing that. Just like start putting like passive, like aggressive, like motivational comments on people's deaths. That grandma passed away and stuff. Grow up, or life goes on.
Pony up, golden boy.
Yeah, that too.
Everybody dies. People die every day. So anyway, we live here. Okay, where was I going with this? So it's their house, then it's laundry room, right?
Mhm.
And then it's our apartment. So the laundry room connects us. Which is
Doesn't
really
it
great. when
always? It
someone's
really
doing-
just brings the whole
it
family
really just
together.
brings
yeah.
everyone together. Yeah.
Well,
It's just really great.
not Chris and Emily, because he has no idea how to fold her laundry.
No, it's true. Still on the couch, unfolded from 3 weeks ago.
It's all right. Sarah's sitting
Poor
on
Sarah.
their unfolded laundry. It's fine.
So, okay. So I will talk about the perks of living attached to my parents, but first the cons, but not my cons. So my sister and her long-term serious boyfriend were ready to take the next step. They're still figuring themselves out career-wise. My sister just got a full-time job. He's working on. Go ahead.
It sounds like Mary.
Sir, I have a job. Okay.
She's a nurse.
For now, yeah,
That's
she's a nurse. Yeah.
So-
Next week, a lawyer.
So they're waiting on us to move out so they can. This is kind of like, I call this the stepping stone. I guess now it's like the log that Frogger jumps onto. You ever play Frogger?
Yes.
But it's the really slow one. It's like it's like level 1, the log. Like you're just taking your time because there's no imminent danger ahead yet. So we're on that really slow log right now. It was a stepping stone. Now it's just that really slow moving log. So it's been like 4 years. So anyway, so my sister's ready to take that next step with her boyfriend, right? So where do they move into? My old bedroom. They live in one room.
So
Wow.
in your
The
parents' house.
circle of life.
Yes, they live with my parents. They literally, like, I live kind of with my parents.
Your
because
parents
we live
must
in
be
the
so
same-
proud.
at the same address. They love having it. They don't want us to move out. If they could have this forever, like I'm just waiting for mom to be like, hey, you just want to switch spots with us? Me and dad will live in the apartment. You guys can take the house. like she never wants us to leave, right? But so yes, so it's a commune. It is. So it's awesome because now I have a brother in the house, right?
Right.
He's a great guy. He was in my wedding, not by choice. I mean, I had to. I mean, it was be so awkward.
You guys
No, I'm
live
just
in the
kidding.
same
kidding.
commune. You gotta invite him.
We literally bled into each other's open wounds when we, during the initiation ceremony. Like I had to put
Yeah,
him
you
into
have
the
to.
right. It's literally in the contract. So no, he's a great guy. Love him to death. Nicest guy you'll ever meet. So they live over there. We live over here. So the perks. What are the perks of still living at home but not living at home? Well,
You can bring
do
your
have that
dirty dishes
separation.
to the dishwasher in
Well,
your
that's
parents'
one of the
yeah.
things. Well, you know what? Emily heard the episode, and now she's not letting me do that. Little does she know, she goes to work for a long period of time a day. I go in when I want. So, however those dishes get washed, she'll never know. So anyway, one of the
At least they're getting
things-
washed. You're welcome.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So one of the big perks is grocery shopping, right? You go grocery shopping, but maybe you forget something. Maybe you forget something grocery shopping. Maybe you forget something on purpose because you just borrow it from your mother. So I'm a big PB&J guy. Love a good peanut butter and jelly, right? I haven't had jelly in my fridge for 6 months. That's actually a lie because my mom's jelly's in my fridge from the other day. Because I come over at like 11 o'clock at night.
Let's
I'm
cut
like, hey,
out
Mom.
the middleman. Just bring it over.
I haven't bought bread in 2 years. I just go to my mom, like, hey, can I borrow a couple slices of bread? And she literally, when she goes food shopping now, she'll buy stuff for them and she buys stuff for me. So when I come over, I can just take it.
So not only is he a child in height, but he's also a man-child in adulting.
Oh yeah, listen. You know how people during the 2016 election demonized Trump for not paying taxes?
Right.
Right. Well, he did. It wasn't enough that it was not illegal. He used the rules and regulations that were put in place by his government to not pay taxes. That's all I'm doing. Is I'm using all the rules and regulations to take advantage of everything that is being offered to me, Scott. So if white bread and maybe sometimes multigrain bread is being offered to me for free, inflation is high, man. I'm taking that free bread and jelly.
And eggs.
I do supply my own peanut butter because they do use off-brand peanut butter over there, so I do buy Skippy.
God.
I cannot
Skippy?
do.
That's what you
rest in
choose?
peace,
That's-
by the way. The name brand is better than the off-brand.
Throwback to hashtag bring back Skippy, our episode of Diz His that we did for April Fool's
I
like
still-
8 years ago.
Feel like they need to bring back Skippy.
You know the old you run out of sugar when you're baking a pie. Let's go ask the neighbor if they have sugar. I could do that for toilet paper, for jelly, for bread, for Ziploc bags, for tinfoil, for eggs, for waffles, for breakfast sausage. That's all the things I borrowed in the last week from my mom. And all I have to say is I'm borrowing it, and then they don't bat an eye because they think, when you say you're borrowing something, the assumption is that you'll give it back. So when you give it back, like, oh, Mom, I'm at the grocery store. I'm going to pick up that can of sloppy Joe sauce. She's like, oh, no, it's okay. Don't tell me twice.
Yeah. You're like, I'm actually not even at the grocery store. I was waiting to see.
I'm basically living in a hotel right now.
I'm so jealous.
An Airbnb.
Basically living in
yeah,
a hotel that room service never comes to, unfortunately. But they do have continental breakfast here.
You just got to go down to the lobby.
We do have one extra room, by the way, if anyone wants to rent out my closet that is open. So all it takes is $50,000 and a blood oath. Yeah,
It's reasonable. Have you seen the housing market
That's all.
lately?
exactly. It's pretty cheap.
Mm-hmm.
The word history comes from ancient Greece, first used by Aristotle. Historians seek knowledge of the past using historical sources. I use Google. This is The His with Alex. All right, before we move on to, I think they have a call coming up. I want to do some history on Charles Manson. Why not? So Charles Manson was born in Cincinnati, Ohio in 1934 and had a troubled childhood. He spent most of his youth in and out of juvenile detention centers. The late 1960s, Manson moved out west and formed a cult, attracting impressionable followers who were drawn to his charismatic personality. This group was known as the Manson family and lived in a ranch outside of Los Angeles. The group engaged in drug use and various forms of bizarre behavior. Manson believed that an apocalyptic race war was imminent, so he instructed his followers to prepare for it by committing a series of crimes and eventually murders. In August of 1969, Manson instructed his followers to brutally murder some people, one of which was actress Sharon Tate and several of her friends. The murders shocked the nation after Manson and several of his group were arrested. During the trial, Manson's bizarre behavior and rambling speeches gained him further notoriety. He became a symbol of counterculture and social unrest, becoming one of the most well-known names in America. Manson was convicted of the murders despite him not being at the locations when they occurred, and was sentenced to life in prison, where he remained until his death in 2017. Manson's infamy grew while he was in prison, with numerous books, movies, and TV shows being made about him and his followers. Merchandise featuring Manson's image, such as t-shirts and posters, also became popular among collectors and true crime enthusiasts. Despite the gruesome nature of the crimes he committed, Manson's legacy has endured as a symbol of the darker side of human nature and the dangers of charismatic leaders who seek to manipulate and control others. Many people have criticized the commodification of Manson's legacy, arguing that it glorifies his crimes and exploits the suffering of his victims and their families. Charles Manson minted collector cards can range up to $200.
All right, we've got a phone call to get to real quick. And if you'd like to phone us, I don't know, you want to call us?
Phone us?
Leave us a message. Maybe we'll play it on air if we like it and it makes us laugh. You can give us a call, 407-906-0543. Okay, this is the sophisticated gentleman again. Take it away, Mr. Gentleman.
Mr. Sir.
All right, guys. So today we're going to tackle Hollywood. Please don't take that literally, Chris. This isn't the sumo wrestling episode. I'm outside of the movie theater today, and I know I've talked about some bad movies before, so today I wanted to talk about some really great movies. Consider, if you will, the best pictures, which incidentally is not a picture of a cat on a lap in the bathroom. Unfortunately, it's not a photo of a covered fridge either. No, instead I'm discussing the Oscars. If you want to pause this real quick, I'm sure film expert Chris can name some of the best picture winners.
Okay,
or you can
best picture winners, go ahead.
It doesn't really matter, dummy.
Titanic.
Regardless,
Okay.
I can guarantee you that Chris isn't thinking about some of these movies I'm about to list out, which have both aged poorly and reminded me of some of you guys. Aside from the Oliver Twist musical from 1968, in which Oliver has better food from the food truck that Sarah ate at and is better at working than Chris, there is 1958's Gigi, in which an older gentleman sitting in a park sings these lyrics. Thank heaven for little girls get bigger every day. That same man tries to groom a young woman to become a mistress for a wealthy man, and the whole thing is a musical. Why would you do that, Scott? Scott can also be seen in 1945's The Lost Weekend, in which a man drinks a significant amount of alcohol, and 1947's Gentleman Agreement, in which a man pretends to be Jewish. I mean, if you celebrate Hanukkah once, yes, there you go. I believe it was Scott, though, not Cecil DeMille, who directed 1952's The Greatest Show on Earth. Some people thought it was about a circus, but actually, it was referring to the No New Friends podcast. Love the show all.
Oh.
Now, here's a movie question for you. Who was Luke Tapping?
that of course is a reference to when we were doing, what was that, the Bubba Joe Monday night or Wednesday night football, and we had Remy on, and Remy swore on his show that he knew more Star Wars trivia than his wife. So I started asking him Star Wars questions, to which all of which he got wrong, and he swears up and down that, spoiler alert, Rey is Luke's daughter. And I'm like, no, Rey is not Luke's daughter. And with this whole thing, and he goes, well, then who the hell was Luke Tappin?
That was a really good call.
When we come back, we've got Jersey Man, Florida Man. You're listening to the No New Friends podcast. Hey there, Scott here. You all know I like to spend time wandering the neighborhood on my big wheels or hanging out at the park with my fedora and my Bud Light. So I don't have time to clean my own house. That's why I've been using I Believe services for the past 6-7 years, and they're the best in commercial and residential cleaning. They're also doing carpet shampooing at such a reasonable price. Just check them out. That's ibelieveservices.us. Give them a call, 407-928-4595, and tell them that the No New Friends podcast sent you.
Picture it, St. Augustine, Florida, 2022. You're on the Night Watchman Ghost Tour with all of your ghoul friends. The air grows colder, you turn the corner, and there she is, Ghost Mary. Okay, you probably won't run into Ghost Mary. You may see a ghost named Mary. I'm not really 100% sure, but the tour guides for the Night Watchman Ghost Tour from See America Tours do know it is the only 4D ghost tour in St. Augustine. So if you have ever wondered what a ghost smells like, well, now is your chance. And right now they have a scary good deal going on. Enter the promo code NNF, as in No New Friends, and receive 25% off your Night Watchman Ghost Tour. So visit them at seeamericatours.net. That is SEE americatours.net. Okay, bye.
If you'd like to hear all of our episodes, all of our past episodes, just visit our website, nonewfriendspodcast.com. All of our links to all of our old episodes are there. If you didn't understand an inside joke or just wanted to re-listen to something, just check it out. It's nonewfriendspodcast.com, or you can check us out on all streaming platforms.
Hey guys, comedian James John, and you are listening to the No New Friends podcast.
Welcome back to the No New Friends podcast. Don't forget to nominate us, Orlando Weekly's Best of Orlando competition. That's vote.orlandoweekly.com. We're under the category Local Notables. Please vote for us, No New Friends podcast, on Best Local Podcast. Mary Reedy for Local Big Shot That's Not a Politician. And then TikTok, no.new.friends.podcast. There's some other ones that, we could qualify there for there too. Just, scroll through the Local Notables and put us where you see fit. I'm not going to, go any further than that, but those are the big three, but there's some more, just go through there and pick some out. All right, it's time to play Jersey Man, Florida Man. Why did I not ask? Because I've learned that we're going to do it anyway, so why ask? And nobody answers me anyway, just like text messages. So,
Nice, smart.
What?
I've been pretty good lately.
Hey, Scott.
Yes.
I'm ready to play Jersey Man versus Florida Man.
Whether flipping a fan boat or crashing a truck, these states are filled with people who suck. So it's time for us to play New Jersey Man versus Florida Man.
Every week, Ryan brings us two news stories. One is from Jersey, one is from Florida. It is up to us to figure out which one is which. Take it away, Ryan.
Hey guys, this is Ryan. I just want to thank Kirkland brand Ryan for filling in for me last week. Don't worry, your brand name Ryan is back for a while now. Anyways, I'm coming to you from the No New Friends newsroom that's located this week in a hidden temple somewhere in Central Florida. I've been on an epic journey, and it's all come down to this moment. I started to think that all my time and hard work was more futile than Christopher Yob joining a gym, but here it is on a pedestal right in front of me. My holy grail. I finally found my $50 Outback Steakhouse gift card. So many people said it didn't exist, just like Chinese buffets. A little worried that the pedestal is weight sensitive, so here I have Scott's Costco card. He told me he's never going to need it again. So I'm just going to swap these out real quick to not set anything off. Yes, I have it. Wait, what's that noise? Oh my God. It's a giant chipped golf ball rolling right at me. Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. Whew. Just barely made it into this room. What's in here? Looks like the skeleton of a few guys whose wives left them alone for 3 days. And there's a large pool in here. Let me test if the water is safe by dipping this hermit crab in the water. It's a well-known fact that hermit crabs are extremely hard to kill. It would take an extreme amount of neglect to kill one of these things. That's why they're known as the Jimmy Carters of the sea. Just as I thought. It dissolved it. That could only mean one thing. Scott peed in this pool. How could this get any worse? Oh, clever girls. I have to find a way out fast. I see a door. Oh no, it's a garage door. I've heard about these things trapping people for days and that was easy. It just opened right up. Seems like almost any small child would be able to open it without any problems at all. Well, now we're outside. Are those natives? No, those are Scouts and minority lawn care workers. They want my gift card. Quick, I gotta get to Chris's space car. Go, 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 go. Why does your car make that sound? Anyways, we made it. Well, I called the number on the back of this thing to see if the damn thing's actually expired. Let's get into this week's Jersey Man or Florida Man. For our first story this week, a man is arrested for masturbating in a Goodwill, not once, but twice.
Oh.
And for our second story, a man is sentenced to 10 years for trying to mail himself drugs.
Oh, okay. All right, so...
First of all, the week off, he really got to writing, huh?
Yeah, he did. He did. That was fantastic.
Wow.
All right, Chris. Masturbating Goodwill guy, or what was the other story?
He mailed himself drugs.
Oh, yeah, mailing himself drugs.
Okay. I love Goodwill. First one could have been me. I black out when I go in there sometimes. And I just know that when I get a good deal, I get very relieved. So Mike, that realistically could have been me. So I'm going to go New Jersey Goodwill, drugs, Florida. Could have been Mary identifying as a male that week.
True.
All right, Mary, what do you think?
So I think that the Goodwill is actually Florida, and here's why. There are drugs everywhere in Florida. You don't have to mail it to yourself. Just go knock on the neighbor's door if you run out. Like, come on, man. So Goodwill, Florida, and then mailing the drugs in New Jersey.
Sarah?
I don't know. She brings up a really good point there. Honestly, I was going to go the opposite way, but I think I'm going to agree with Mary on that one.
All right, I'm going to stick to my guns because we have a lot of them here in Florida. I'm going to go drugs, Florida, and masturbating Goodwill man, Jersey. All right, let's find out the answers.
So our first story this week was from New Jersey, where a 49-year-old man was accused of masturbating twice in a Goodwill store near the clothing aisle. This sounds like a mixture of two guys I know. Was this some homeless hipster wearing a fedora named Scott Yob? So that means our second story is from Florida, where a Florida man was spending 10 years in prison after he tried to mail himself 18 pounds of meth. The man put his real address on the package and used his real name, phone number, and email in conversations with the Postal Service. Speaking of packages, Scott last week mentioned how his welcome package is cleanly shaven using Manscaped. Hate to say it, Scott, but your package isn't welcome anywhere by anyone. And in other news, Ashton Kutcher is apologizing for not recognizing Harry Styles at a karaoke event. He says he feels like a real jerk about it. This is almost as bad as hanging out in a Disney park with somebody for like an hour before realizing which Ryan it actually was. Isn't that right, Sarah? It's not like you hear my voice every week or anything. I mean, I want a friendly for Remy's sake. Does that mean nothing? It's okay, Sarah. It hurt my feelings and all, but I have a way that you can make it up to me. I want you to post in Discord the picture you took for your sister-in-law over near Star Tours. Anyways, that's it for me this week, guys. We'll talk to you next week.
Did he say, wait, did he say for Remy's sake?
For Remy's sake instead of for Christ's sake. Lord Remy.
Oh, that was amazing. That was amazing. All right, so before we move on, updated scores for Jersey Man versus Florida Man. Mary, 18. Chris, 18. Scott, 22. Sarah, 5. Joe, 1. Alex, 1. Remy, 1. Thank you, sophisticated gentlemen, for the update.
All right, so Sarah, you're going to have to put the picture in chat. First of all,
I can't do that.
Lewis can.
Why?
No,
It's bad?
he can't. I don't know if I think he has them.
Wait, it's that bad?
No.
What is this?
Okay. So
yeah, so we must know
what
the
is
story.
the story.
Okay. Where's my drink? No. So basically the day started off, Lewis and I went to go and see Scott at work, and I had a couple mimosas, before we went to the park. And
the other day, right?
Just a normal day. So we get to the park, and Lewis tells me that we're meeting up with Remy, and he surprises me and says, "Oh, Ryan's going to be there." So I meet Ryan, I meet his wife, we're having a great time. We walk over, Scott, I'm sure you're familiar with, I call it the Liquor Shack, but it's that like canteen right outside of Indiana Jones, all right?
Oh,
They're open.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't think they'd be open. They were open.
They're always open, just like the potato cart at Universal. Always open.
I love to hear that because that was important information. Thank you. So I dart on over there and I order myself a double shot of tequila and I order Lewis a drink, and it looked a little short. So I said to her, "Is that, a double shot?" And she was like, "Oh, I didn't realize that's what you wanted." So it was Patron, and it's got a big spout. So she just kind of like, poured it in there, and it was more like a triple shot at this point. Oh. So from there, we started walking over to Star Tours, where you can't bring your drink past the threshold of the building.
Correct.
And I had to chug the tequila because it was Lewis and Remy and Ryan and his wife. And so I felt the pressure. So I chugged the tequila. So by the end of this...
Wait, there was nothing else in it? It was just tequila?
It was straight tequila.
It was a triple shot of tequila.
So
oh my goodness,
normally,
was it at least chilled?
Yeah, but so
Okay,
normally
good.
I
Good.
get like extra limes and I will like take a small drink and have a lime and whatever. Well, she shorted me on the limes as well. So I had to just go for it.
How many limes does it take for a whole bottle? I mean, like
a lot. Not that I know or anything, but a lot. So at some point, we managed to make it over to Rise of the Resistance, and
You crawl there?
Not quite. I was still walking at this point. But at some point, I looked over to Lewis, and I was feeling fantastic, and I said, "Which Ryan is this?" And he said, "It's Florida man, Jersey man Ryan." And I said, "Oh, I hear it now. Now I can hear it in the voice." It had just then registered which Ryan I was with.
You're like some dude named Ryan. We just hung out with him all day.
I mean, there's a lot of Ryans, okay? So I
It's
just...
true.
In defense, there is.
Sarah, you're so pretty.
It was a Ryan.
Here's the problem, though, is that even if I knew that I didn't know which Ryan it was, I would be too embarrassed to say it.
Well,
like I would just go on with I would pretend, and I would try to find context clues to figure it out in conversation.
Well, I whispered
I'd be like,
it.
How do you feel? Well,
I whispered it with
I don't think Patron says you whispered it.
Yeah,
you
think you whispered it.
I felt like I whispered
you whispered it. Yeah, you did not whisper it. Just
You
like
actually
you thought
asked
you
Ryan
walked to Rise.
Lewis called me out 1,000%. He called me out. So that...
Oh, and Sarah, how did that make you feel, him calling you out?
I was irritated, but not mad.
Oh.
It was fine.
So
you weren't mad. You were just disappointed.
Right.
Okay. We do have a lot of Ryans. We've got other Ryan. We've got classic Ryan. And then we have Don't Wreck Yourself Ryan. So we do have 3 Ryans, but they have very, very distinctive voices. You cannot.
That's why I said it. I was like, oh, I hear it now. Maybe I said that a little too loud. That's possible. But here, to the first question that was asked here in Discord too. Thanks a lot for that. I have a tendency to take pictures at landmarks in theme parks. Like my favorite thing is the AT-AT. It's one of my favorite things in Star Wars, and I always have to take a picture next to it, or like Woody at front of Toy Story Land. But I take the pictures. I take these pictures from an angle that's not so flattering, and my lovely sister-in-law, she always says there's not enough double chin, or there's not enough flaring nostrils, because it kind of looks like from down here. So I have.
You take selfies.
I take selfies, but I take it like this, and I take it like at a really close, awkward angle, but just enough to get the landmark in the back. Right. Basically, yes. But I have kind of like a whole album on my phone. I just take these pictures every time I go, and I just make sure that she knows where I'm at and that I love her enough to take these very unflattering pictures and send them. But I took a moment post tequila to like run back to the front of Star Tours to take the picture, or else I was going to let my sister-in-law down, and they all witnessed it. So it's there in the album.
Sarah, I think I found the subject of your OnlyFans. Oh my God, Ryan! Me and Ryan just
I know. I thought you were reading that. Yep.
No, I wasn't.
There it is. There's the subject of your OnlyFans.
No.
But can you post a picture in chat, because that's what Ryan said you have to do.
I still waiting on that pic. Oh God, I have to go through a lot of them to find the best of the unflattering.
And on After Dark, we're going to find out how many D pics she had to scroll past to get to this picture.
Those are all hidden, but they're there.
Those are all hidden. She's got them in the hidden folder.
All right. Well, while Sarah looks for that, she found it.
I know it's not that. I just keep looking at all of them. There's so many. It's awful.
All right. Well, while Sarah's looking for that picture, Chris, do you have any cliff notes?
I do.
It's been quite the show. A lot of stuff's happened, so nothing can stop this little boy from recapping the day the Chris's Cliff's Notes way.
So, Scott has daughters, but also has a son, yet claims he's a girl dad. Darren, I think your dad just gender identified you for you. I think is actually illegal in Florida, so I would watch yourself, actually. In that same segment, we talked about menstruation in segment 1, right? And I just wanted to apologize sincerely for any jokes that I have made, that I may have made that were insensitive, because menstruation jokes are not funny. Period. I have to make that joke every single time.
That is the third time that you have made that joke.
I have to make it every single time, because it's just the funniest thing ever. Later on in that segment, we talked about the talk in segment 1. The old birds and the bees, the old coming to age story. Damn, I can't wait for mine. Sounds like so much fun. Ladies, I know guys will never understand how a girl feels when they're on their period. We talked about things, how they feel. Get moody, you eat a lot, especially sweets and comfort food. Wait a second. I guess I can understand. Been on a period for like the last year.
You've been menstruating.
Yeah. We talked about speeding. This is my favorite one. We talked about speeding tickets, and Ryan chimed in and said he was in the chat on Twitch, because that was during segment 1 where everyone gets to watch. Jersey man, Florida man, Ryan. I do want to, it's just so Sarah doesn't get confused. Jersey man, Florida man, Ryan chimed in and said that he was going 110 by a cop. They didn't pull him over. Yeah, that's because the cop saw your car and was like, yeah, this guy wouldn't be able to afford it anyway.
Not very nice.
He was on his way to his dishwashing shift at All-Star Resort.
And lastly, in Jersey Man versus Florida Man, Ryan was chased by a giant chipped golf ball after retrieving his long-lost gift card. That actually wasn't a giant chipped golf ball. That was actually Scott after he got his booster shot.
Wow.
And those are my cliff notes.
Lord.
It's been quite the show. A lot of stuff's happened, so nothing can stop this little boy from recapping the day the Chris's Cliff's Notes way.
So, good old conspiracy joke. Because we can't do the segment anymore. It's just...
Yeah. I got it.
We'll do it next week.
For background, Indiana Jones Stunt Show is one of my favorite theme park attractions of all time. I love that show. And
you never
Ryan
brought that up.
I don't think I've ever brought it up on this podcast.
That's pretty hard to believe. But
I brought it up on Remy's Roundtable and Diz his.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But Ryan gives me a hard time about it because he hates that. He says it's garbage. But anyway.
One little spark of inspiration is at the heart of all creation. Right at the start of everything that's new. One little spark,
Hey, it's Alex from Diz His. You know me, you know Joe, you definitely know Chris, and you know Jen. Well, we're the hosts of Diz His, the Disney History Podcast. Every week we take one Disney subject and go over the history, as well as our insight on the subject. We talk about other Disney topics, as well as what's new in the news. You can find us on all podcast platforms, or go to our website, dizhiz.com. That's DIZHIZ.com. And we're on all social media at DizHiz65.
Speaking of Disney, Chris, what do you got coming up on Diz His?
Well, before we get into what I did on Diz His this week, because it was a good episode, I was taken on a vacation this week.
You were taken on a vacation this week?
Yeah, guess who?
Oh, I can't guess. I have no idea who we know
Well,
who specializes in vacations.
You're close, actually, even having no idea. It was Nick from Sandpiper Vacations. That was a really oddly good non-guess, actually.
Shocker.
Thank you.
Yeah, I want you guys to guess. I want you guys to guess. And I'm just going to describe kind of what we did on this trip.
Okay.
And all that. Listen, I know how this is going to sound. Don't be immature. I know how this is going to sound, but these are clues.
Okay.
You see that new TikTok going around, the cheese tax, where you cook in the
tax,
yes, the cheese tax, where you
gotta
cook
pay
in
the cheese
exactly.
tax.
No,
Well, Nick,
I've been
when
watching a lot
I've been watching
a lot of Jack's Right songs and What No Way Guy.
Oh, good. That goes perfectly what I'm saying, Scott. Thank you for chiming in. So, if you want me to have a phone call conversation about that later, Scott, if you feel inclined to tell me more about that. I pay the cheese tax, actually, to Nick. That's my first clue. He got me super wet in what he informed me he calls the Great Lakes. Don't know if that's what it's called, but that's what he calls it. Took me to the land. It's what he calls the Dairy Land. Who was producing the dairy? Was it the state were we in? Was it him? That's up for your interpretation. And lastly, the town that we spent the most time in, full disclosure, Pound Town. So those are your guesses. You're gonna have to those are your hints. What are your guesses?
This is who you went on vacation with or where?
No, Nick took me on vacation.
Okay.
Who do you think would have taken me to Pound Town?
Obviously, yeah.
I don't know. No other travel agent knows that there's a Pound Town.
I'm gonna say Indiana.
Okay. Mary.
If you say Indiana, I'll just say Jones. I don't.
Okay, it wasn't
Jones a
Jones
place?
either.
You know, I don't know geography. Chris.
It was
God.
one of the 50 states, so you have a 1 in a 50% chance of getting this right.
Oh, okay. Wisconsin has cheese.
Wow. First of all, Sarah, I'm not even going to let you guess. Sorry.
That's okay.
Because Mary got this right. Wisconsin. Believe it or not, there's a Pound Town, Wisconsin. It's Pound, Wisconsin.
Wow.
It's the land of dairy. We did go to the Great Lakes. Any of you who thought I was talking about sex and any of those things, you're a sicko. And to apologize to me and to Nick, book through Sandpiper Vacations at sandpipervacations.com. Get a free quote and tell them the No New Friends podcast sent you. Don't go to Wisconsin. It sucks there. Don't go to Wisconsin. It was horrible. It was not
now
good.
they don't even have a good quarterback there anymore.
No, there's nothing there. Oh, that was one of my other jokes was he packed me. Go Pack Go. It was a horrible vacation. Go somewhere nice. Go to the Caribbean, which he specializes in. He doesn't specialize in Wisconsin. He was like, where's the worst? I literally asked him because he booked a vacation for me to Alaska, like I said, 45 other times. I said, Nick, I want you to take me to the worst possible place in the United States. And that's when he took me to Wisconsin. Don't go there. But if you want to go there, listen, he's your man, but don't go there.
But he said, worst possible place. Are you sure you want to stay at home for your vacation?
Anyway, this week on Dizzes, we have a special guest on this week, Alex, from very popular YouTube channel.
Jeopardy.
Hey, wow. Super Dead.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, we did not have the corpse of Alex Trebek on this week. But maybe, hey, you know what? You know what? Maybe we did. You're going to have to tune in this week to listen. We do the history on Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah, one of my favorite MCU movies. So Just a really solid movie, which I know Scott doesn't even like, which we'll talk about another time. That's it. If you want to know more, listen. It's all I have to say is a really good episode, and the guest was just
dynamite.
You said it best, Scott. He listened live, so you know.
You can connect with DizHiz65 on all social media. Check out their episodes or their website, dizhiz.com. We've got some other great podcasts coming up on After Dark in a week or so. We've got Nick from Movie Theater Time Machine. Really fun interview, really fun podcast that I can't wait to hear. I can't wait for you to hear him talk about that. Then we also have Don't Wreck Yourself with Ryan, who does the Guardian Knot thing of the internet's BS. But they tackle subjects that are wrecking the internet, and they cut through that BS, and they tell you if it is plausible or not. Then we've got Ashes to Awesome with Chuck LaFlange, who talks all about the rise from addiction into recovery. Great podcast. Mary, your dad's podcast is on hiatus, right? For about 11 more weeks, I think.
No, I think it's only like 2 more months. So like 8 weeks, I think. Anyways, but if you want to listen to the old episodes, that is a mental health moment with Dr. Edward Samaro. You can find that on Spotify.
Awesome. Check out the Black Lincoln Collective podcast. They're everywhere. Super funny. Chris, what podcast are you assigned to recommend?
Oh, man, we got the Studio 21 podcast. Baseball is in full swing, no pun intended. Check them out if you like baseball. We have not Diz Is. But you can check them out too. We have Big Beautiful Diz on YouTube. Go check him out on YouTube if you like all things Disney. And last, we have the Podfather himself, Remy from Remy's Roundtable. Check out Remy's Roundtable on all streaming platforms, but especially Spotify. He likes to plug Spotify a lot, so check him out on Spotify.
Sarah, what about a Nerd Archive podcast? What's going on there?
This week they're talking about all the tech that they've bought and tried and hated. So they've got yes.
It's a fun
which
one.
we have boxes sitting around. So there's
it's like it's for research, Sarah.
So on this 2-hour episode of the Nerd Archive, no, I'm just kidding.
I think your first fight's coming up.
Hold on, does that frustrate you? Does that frustrate you?
Not at all, because the piles of clothes I have sitting around, it's equal. But they will be talking about that this week, so check them out on all platforms.
Awesome. And don't forget to check out NNF After Dark. That's every Wednesday's episode. Really hope you enjoyed last Wednesday's, which was a mostly serious look at some of the struggles and issues that our family and friends in the LGBTQ plus community experience. It felt really, really good to do that episode, and it was fantastic. So anyway, check that out. Sometimes the episodes are silly. Sometimes they're serious. You never know. Check that out. You can connect with us on all social media. All of our links are right there on our website, nonewfriendspodcast.com. While you're there, check out our sweet merchandise. Join our clubhouse, become a Patreon member, and watch these things as we record live. And then also vote for us on Orlando Weekly's Best of Orlando competition under the category Local Notables. That's Best Local Podcast. And also Mary Reedy for Best Local Big Shot. That's vote.orlandoweekly.com. On behalf of the sophisticated gentleman, Game Master Ryan, our producer, Alex, Sarah, Chris, Mary, I'm Scott. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time.
Okay, bye.